Hello, good morning, and welcome back to episode two of Game Informer issue 185, the September 2008 edition. If you remember, we left off. Oh, I'm dumb. I switched it over, but I didn't switch you guys over. There we go. So we're talking about E3, and we're just kind of going through the top 25 games, and we're at number seven, which is Prince of Persia. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah. No, I would have done Prince of Persia. Okay. 40. Yes, I read. That's why I was like, that doesn't sound right. I feel like I did that. So yes. Okay, now I'm at number 10, Rock Band. Rock Band 2. Rock Band returns this September as a temporary Xbox 360 exclusive. I forgot about that. But with the constant stream of DLC, it feels like it never left. This version features new and improved hardware plus a laundry list of requested tweaks. I will say the requested tweaks and just the small little changes they made from Rock Band 1 to Rock Band 2, it is a better game. I do think on disc, Rock Band 1 has a better soundtrack or set list or whatever you want to call it. Oh, why it's hot. The awesome 84 song set list includes artists like Bob Dylan, AC/DC, and Modest Mouse. Check it out at rockband2.com. But more importantly, all DLC and most of the songs from the original Rock Band are easily imported into one massive Rock Band 2 library, which is expected to reach over 500 tracks by the end of 2008. Yeah, I mean that is awesome, especially in 2008 standards. How it stacks up. While it may not have Okay. While it may not have big bullet point features like Guitar Hero's music creation system, fan investment in both the hardware and software side carries over. Harmonix was the first to create a band game, now they're aiming to perfect it. Okay. The 11th game is Far Cry 2. The sequel to 2004's surprising sandbox shooter returns with a new African environment, a civil war, amazing graphical technology, and several playable characters, each with their own agenda. I have a little bit of experience with Far Cry 2. I started it because I have played other Far Cry, like the newer ones, and Far Cry 2 was rough to go back to. I'm going to have to give it another chance, obviously, for this, but I'm not excited about Far Cry 2, to be honest. Why it's hot. Far Cry 2 preserves the freedom of its predecessor and builds on the experience with new tactics. To blow an oil pipeline, we choose to stealthily move our way into the first base to place the charge on the pipe. To disarm a base guarding a radio tower, we started a grass fire to create a distraction before going in guns blazing against the baddies. How it stacks up. Crytek may not be working on the title, but the impressive graphics, branching story, and promising gameplay should keep this sandbox experience from being relegated to also status in a year crowded with shooter sequels. What it is Platinum Games, the development house created by former Clove Studios. Oh man, Bayonetta is so good. By former Clover Studios members, makes its entry into the stylish third person action genre. This isn't new territory for the studio, though. Uh, Devil, Devil May Cry. Oh my god. Devil May Cry creator Hideki Kamiya is directing Bayonetta. Bayonetta is awesome. Why it's hot. Engage in flashy, fast paced combat against legions of angels by using combos, skillful dodges, and magical attacks. Even at this early stage, the game looks gorgeous, with amazing special effects sprouting from every press of the button. Plus, the main character embodies just about every adolescent male fantasy imaginable. Sure. How it stacks up. Any other game that touts over the top action will be humbled by the ridiculousness of Bayonetta. The heroine has guns in her shoes, can perform magical attacks with her hair, and conjure medieval torture devices from thin air. It definitely has an element of humor, but the combat steals the spotlight. Yeah, I'm just going to keep hammering it home. Bayonetta is awesome. Number 13, Dragon Age Origins. This spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate's franchise, the PC RPGs, not the console hack and slashers, lets players experience a uh, climactic struggle in a brand new dark fantasy world from a number of perspectives. It kind of makes sense that this game is only 13th as well, just because I don't think it showed super well at E3. From what I remember hearing, they basically just kind of threw people in at like a really, really hard boss battle that basically nobody could beat. And it was just like an odd experience, but it probably seemed cool. So I'm thinking like it just didn't show super well. On top of that, I have played through Dragon Age Origins, and it's fine. I'm not a big. I'm just gonna keep saying I'm not a big fantasy guy, so um, that particular genre, it always just kind of I always end up just kind of feeling like it was okay. But anyway, Dragon Age Origins, why it's hot. BioWare has earned its legendary status with over a decade of seminal RPGs, and Dragon Age is its next opus. Combat looks substantially deeper than KOTOR or Mass Effect, with Baldur's Gate style pause and play tactical battles. The titular origins supposedly change how the larger story plays out, though BioWare was unwilling to share specifics. How it stacks up. Dragon Age is a more traditional RPG than we've seen out of BioWare in a while, but we're on board with anything that gives us a chance to bask in the studio's trademark unparalleled storytelling. Genuine tactical combat is a welcome throwback to older Western RPGs as well. Number 14, Halo Wars. What it is, a real-time strategy game built from the ground up for consoles by renowned RTS house Ensemble Studios. This prequel to the Halo trilogy examines the backstory of humanity's struggle against the Covenant from a bird's eye view. So I haven't played Halo Wars 1, but this is going to sound weird. My experience with Halo Wars 2 is it was my very first game that I played on my Xbox One. I remember I was saving up for a PC. I'm just going to go off on a little tangent here. So I was saving up for a PC, and then I decided, my bad. I was saving up for a PC, and I decided instead of buying a PC, I was going to buy a Nintendo Switch and an Xbox One. But that was quite a bit of money to spend on two consoles on the same day. So I didn't have a lot for games. So then I only bought Zelda Breath of the Wild for my Switch, and then I bought Halo Wars 2 for Xbox. So yeah, Halo Wars 2 was my very first Xbox game that I played on my Xbox One. I had a 360 before that. So, but yeah, Halo Wars 2. I remember I was like blown away by the graphics at the time. So, but that's Halo Wars 2. Oh, I haven't finished. Yes, I haven't finished it. I just kind of did the what it is. Why it's hot. This deceptively simple control scheme makes commanding troops in Halo Wars far easier than previous console RTS titles. Streamlined base building and economies let you focus on the action. Why would you be farming dirt when you could be telling a Spartan to commander to Oh my god. Why would you be farming dirt when you could be telling a Spartan to commandeer an enemy wraith? Yeah, why not? How it stacks up. We went into our hands-on time with Halo Wars with great skepticism, but a bare few minutes with the game had us zooming around the map and kicking Covenant butt, with awesome unit specials with ease. It's more of a traditional RTS than fellow console titles End War and Stormrise, but this already works better on the gamepad than anything yet released in the genre. Dead Space. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite games of all time. So good. it's another one I don't people didn't know what to expect of this. They were like, it seems cool, but we'll see. Um, and boy, did we ever. But what it but according to Game Informer, Dead Space is EA turns the spook factor to 11 in the horror fest that follows Isaac Clarke, an engineer charged with answering the distress call of a stranded deep space mining ship harboring a deadly alien infestation. Oh, I keep doing that. On why it's hot. On paper, Dead Space comes off as a focus group developed okay. On paper, Dead Space comes off as a focus group developed hybrid of several sci-fi horror cliches. This line of thinking is put to rest the minute you see a necromorph grab Clarke by the boot and drag him through a dimly lit corridor while he struggles to shoot the tentacle. This game's goal is to make you crap your pants, and judging from our experience, is it may deliver. I think the first, like, probably level of this game has some of the best atmosphere. They really pour it on thick initially, and then as the game goes on, they just kind of they take little touches away from the atmosphere. It's actually very clever the way they do it, because I think what they're going for is Isaac. He's just kind of adjusting to the world, and he's adjusting to all the noises and all just kind of like the creepy factor of the whole game. So but anyway, how it stacks up. With Left 4 Dead and Resident Evil 5, horror games are pervasive in our most anticipated titles. If Dead Space can deliver more thrills like those we've seen so far, it may be a three-way race for the best game that gives gamers nightmares. I don't know if Left 4 Dead was that scary. I mean, I understand it's kind of going for that atmosphere, but which I mean, I don't know if Resident Evil 5 is that scary either, to be honest. So, but anyway, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. This game's cool. I think it's a little short, but man, it has one of the best abilities in all of video games. What it is, if you think you've played as a Jedi before, think again. The Force Unleashed puts players into the ultimate role, a secret apprentice for the Sith Lord himself, Darth Vader. Armed with the Force powers and a lightsaber, you must take on secret missions and countless enemies to do the Dark Lord's bidding. Why it's hot. The game bridges the gap between episodes 3 and 4 with a canon-based story that shows a new side of Vader that no one has ever seen. While there have been force powers and lightsaber battles in games before, none of it comes close to the Wookiee throwing, Rancor slaying action here. Yeah, this game probably for its time did have like the physics were just insane. How it stacks up. If you put PsyOps and God of War into a George Lucas blender, you would end up with Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Amongst the countless Star Wars games before it, none of them have contained this much intense action. Spore. What it is. You don't know about Spore yet? Seriously, where have you been in the last 4 years? The next project from the Sims creator Will Wright is one of the most anticipated games in history. I haven't decided if I'm gonna touch PC yet. Primarily just because like that was just gonna open up another whole can of worms that I just don't know if I want to even touch. I'm okay with the DS, but like I don't think I'm ever gonna play Spore. I might try it at some point. I don't think I'm gonna count it as like ranking the 7th or anything, but it does. I probably should just try it just to check it out at some point. But anyway, why it's hot. Start in the premortal soup and evolve into a galactic superpower with a race of creatures you design yourself. You control your creature as it hunts for food, establishes a tribe, and eventually grows into an entire civilization. You can also design your civilization's buildings, vehicles, and spaceships, then share those creations with friends via Spore's expansive social options. Okay. How it stacks up. Anyone claiming that Spore will be a collection of editing. Okay. Anyone claiming that Spore will just be a collection of editing interfaces can officially shut their mouths. It plays and feels like an actual game. The customization tools are neat, and underlying gameplay is coming together nicely, blending action and simulation into one intuitive package. Oh no, Heavy Rain, the origami killer. I know it's origami. It's just in the game, I'm pretty sure they call it origami. Why? What it is? Not all games need big guns and fast cars. Heavy Rain is the next story-driven game from Quantic Dream, the developer behind the cult hit Indigo Prophecy. Why it's hot? It's not. It's just not. I can tell you, I've played it. It's not hot. Jason. Heavy Rain grew out of. Okay. I need to be less cynical about Heavy Rain. Um, I should. Heavy Rain grew out of a technology demo showcased at E3 2 years ago. The demo, entitled The Casting, depicted a realistic virtual actress delivering a monologue and going through a wide range of emotions. Quantic Dream says gamers can expect that kind of an engaging, believable performance from all characters in Heavy Rain. How it stacks up. With so much focus on narrative, the writing and story will have to maintain a consistently high quality. Oof, yeah, it would. Indigo Prophecy drew gamers in early on, but the plot had completely unraveled by the end. Interesting. Resulting in an uneven and confusing experience. Huh. Yeah. If Heavy Rain can keep it together, it could be the next evolution of interactive storytelling. I do think, like, conceptually how they build the story, sure. And just the overall game, like, yeah, there are elements to take from to Heavy Rain to say, like, hey, implement these into other games. Maybe the story, not so much. Ooh, Bowflex. All right. Mirror's Edge. What it is. Take the acrobatic platforming of Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia, bring the camera into first person, and move the setting to a shining urban utopia with sinister undertones. So I sat down and played this, and I played through like the first level, and I was like, this is kind of neat, and then I haven't played it since. So I will sit down and play it for ranking the seventh. I don't have a good read of like how I'm gonna end up feeling about it, but like it's always sounded kind of neat, but at the same time, like first person traversal just doesn't sound like something that interests me. So we'll see. But why it's hot? Skyscrapers have never felt so nauseatingly high until you're balancing on a thin pipe as main character Faith. Unlike the limited platforming. Okay. Unlike the limited and painful platforming present in all other okay platforming present in all other first person games up to this point, these controls feel more natural and smooth. The unique clean environmental designs just beg to be clamored on. Why would you use clamored? Why wouldn't you just be climbed on, or whatever? How it stacks up. Instead of unloading endless clips of bullets into enemies like most first person titles, Faith prefers fast takedowns and escapes, chaining a wall run into a flying kick, a quick disarm, and a rifle butt to the head works so smoothly that you'll be tossing guns more often than shooting them. And that is one thing I do know, like guns slow you down, so you don't even want to be carrying them. I didn't know you could butt end, so that's kind of cool. You just pick it up, you hit them with it, and then you just keep running. Like that sounds neat. Okay. Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. It's more of a Lego game than any official Lego title than any of the official Lego titles. Nuts and Bolts allows players to build any vehicle they want, whether it's a tank, boat, rocket, or plane, with the ease of clicking bricks together. Building is easy and fun, and the inventive missions push you to tap into your creative side, like building a rocket ship that can jettison into thrusters to reveal glider wings. I have played through, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 levels of Nuts and Bolts, and I just kind of like fell off just because I love Banjo Kazooie. I'm not as big of a fan of Banjo Tooie. And then nuts and bolts. I was like, this is such its own thing. I don't want to bash it because it has great elements and it's neat and it has a lot of character, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. But anyway, why it's hot. The user created content opens the doors for a wide variety of solutions to the game's diverse challenges. You can share blueprints for these inventions with your online friends and invite them into your world for co op and versus play. How it stacks up. With the platformer genre all but extinct, Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is a sight for sore eyes. The innovative building and aspect gives the genre the kick in the pants it needs. Resistance 2. After suffering defeat in London, the Chimerian forces have regrouped and pulled out their big guns for an assault on America. Protagonist Nathan Hale is back into action, but what can one man do against an armada of nuke-wielding giants? I wish I liked the Resistance series more. I feel like everybody I talk to, like, they have such positive things to say about Resistance, and I just like I've played through them all, and I just kind of feel like a general, just like yeah, they're they're fine. They're just pretty generic first person shooters. Uh, I don't know. They don't do a lot for me. But I do need to play them again. I'll try it again. And maybe I'll like it a little more the second time. Maybe I'll gain a more respect for that. So we'll see. But why it's hot? With 60-player online battles, 8-player online co-op, two separate campaigns, 3 customizable character classes, and 100 story enemies, Resistance 2 offers the mathematical equation of awesome times infinity. How it stacks up. With famed developer Insomniac Games at the helm again, this hefty load of numbers is supported by incredible level designs, inventive weapons, and what's shaping up to be an intriguing second chapter of a story. The first-person shooter market is the most competitive in gaming, but Resistance 2 sidesteps the competition with its unique spin on multiplayer and a single-player campaign that turns out larger battles than you'll find anywhere else. Okay, got 3 more games. My apologies, 4. Slid all 4 on this page. Call of Duty World at War. I don't know why, but this is the Call of Duty when they all came out. This is the Call of Duty that I latched onto, and this is the one I played online a ton. And I played a ton of the zombies. I just played a lot of zombies online. This was my Call of Duty game. This is the Call of Duty game I've played the most, Call of Duty World at War. I will say the campaign is just frustratingly, it just makes you want to like punch a baby. Oh my freaking god. It just grenade spam constantly by the AI. You are going to die at least 50 times from grenades in this game. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. What it is, Call of Duty returns to the World War II battlefront to release. Okay. Call of Duty returns to the World War II battlefront to relive the Russian push into Nazi Germany and explore the American assault in the Pacific theater for the first time. Yeah, they are both like neatish ideas, but like I guess like especially the Russian push, like you play as the Russians in like the other 3 Call of Duties as well, the World War II ones. That doesn't even seem like a big deal either. To accommodate Japanese tactics, Treyarch has rewritten the Call of Duty action rulebook. Prepare to face banzai runs, sudden ambushes, and intense amphibious skirmishes as you return the favor to the Empire of the Rising Sun. The game maintains a visual benchmark set by Call of Duty 4 and adds its own flair to the action in the form of a flamethrowers and scorched earth policy. How it stacks up. Many hardcore fans are pissed that Infinity Ward isn't working on the title, but Treyarch's last Call of Duty game was no slouch, and this one looks promising. Call of Duty World at War may even surprise those who have sworn off the bloated World War II genre. What it is, it's Street Fighter 4, guys. One of the most important fighting games ever made. I mean, it just, yes, it completely brought back the fighting game community, and just kind of it in a lot of ways it kind of reinvented the fighting game genre, and how it did that was by just going back to its roots of Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 4 is incredible. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it just playing it, because I'm just gonna probably just like hop on for this and then just play like the arcade mode and stuff. I guess I don't know. We'll see. What it is, Capcom's arcade legend returns with new playable characters, new story sequences, online play, and stylish new art design. Fighting game fans, your Messiah is coming. Why it's hot. Street Fighter 4 plays eerily like you remember Street Fighter 2 in your fondest dreams. Capcom has found the perfect balance between fluid controls and deep strategy. Expect to spend a lot of time mastering this game online. And boy, did I play a lot of this game online. How it stacks up. Both MK vs DC and Soul Calibur 4 had strong showings, but Street Fighter 4 reminds us why it was once the arcade king. The series looks ready to devour our nation's This series looks ready to devour our nation's quarter supply once again. Borderlands. Oh, Borderlands is great. What it is, incorporating elements from fantasy action RPG titles, first-person shooters, and post-apocalyptic movies like Mad Max, Borderlands is a compelling mix of genres. Players explore the desolate world of Pandora on foot in customizable vehicles, fighting and scavenging for survival. Why it's hot. Borderlands features hundreds of thousands of weapons thanks to the game's ability to generate them on the fly, according to numerous components, special effects, and manufacturers. You approach quests in multiple ways depending on the weapons you have available, and the 4-player online co-op adds even more variety. How it stacks up. Borderlands looks like fun to play online, and the combination of vehicles and weapon combat promises to keep things fresh. It's an ambitious game, but it's really going to have to nail the shooting mechanics. All those weapons aren't worth much without gameplay backing them up. And I will say they do a good job with like the shooting mechanics. I mean, it's on par with any other shooter, a contemporary shooter at the time. So. Killzone 2. I've never touched the Killzone series. So, what it is, Guerrilla Games' ambitious reboot of its PS2 shooter that captivated audience with its art direction but failed to provide memorable gameplay. Why it's hot. Since its debut 3 years ago, Killzone 2 has captured our imagination with its gritty sci-fi graphics and epic scale battles. Now we also know the game brings the big guns to multiplayer, delivering character progression, clan support, and a new badge system that lets you blend skills from different classes. How it stacks up. No question this game looks and sounds badass. Releasing in February after the rest of the shooters are bloodied by the holiday competition may be just what this game needs to make a splash. That's a good point. Just coming out a little later. Impulse by Matt Miller. So it looks like this is all just like smaller, just like smaller, like just downloadable only games. That's the word I was looking for. Downloadable only games. While this year's new, oh my god. While this year's new title announcements at E3 failed to inspire much excitement on the retail front, the same can't be said for the downloadable scene. Dozens of great short-form games appeared at the show, from several brand new announcements to playable versions of some of the hotly anticipated titles that we've known about for a while. The recently premiered WiiWare platform can be forgiven for its lack of strong showing, but both PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade revealed the strongest lineups yet for both platforms. Remember in that interview with the woman, and she was like, "Oh man, Nintendo Online, that's where it is." And then right here, just basically Game Informer's assessment of what Nintendo Online had at least initially, was they're just like, it's not even worth our time. We're just going to focus on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. But anyway, game after game exhibited innovation and stellar designs packed into short bursts of gameplay. While there are too many titles to tackle in 2 short pages, this should give you a taste of what's to come in months ahead. Flower. I haven't touched Flower. I have heard a lot about it, and I'm curious about it. When I asked creative director Genova Chen to describe his team's latest effort, their last was the enigmatic and enchanting Flow. He began by describing the project as a video game poem inspired by life in the urban cityscape. Without saying much else, he sat me down in front of the game and suggested I play. It's representative of a different approach to the game design, valuing art and interpretation in inferent interpretation inferent valuing art and interpretation in equal oh my god okay valuing art and interpretation in equal measure with interaction and gameplay. Beginning a level, you discover the ability to make the wind blow and cause a single flower petal to twist and turn through the breeze on its way to another flower. You pick up more petals as you pass additional flowers, and as the buds you touch begin to blossom, light and life spreads out across the grassy field. Notes of music burst forth from the flowers as well, leading to a dancing interplay between the score and the rising and the falling flow of the wind. Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2. Now, I really like Geometry Wars 1. If you've watched any of my streams, you've probably watched me play some Geometry Wars, because a lot of times I end up just kind of playing a little Geometry Wars. Its predecessor was the very first first live arcade title I played, and the sequel looks to start the obsession all over again. 4-player co-op and competitive modes are the biggest leap forward, making the game play in entirely new ways as you rely on allies or rivals to take down enemies. The game modes are a blast. My favorite was King, where players desperately retreat into shrinking circles shrinking circles of protection as enemies pour out. Eventually, the circle disappears, and it's time to make a mad dash for the next safe zone. There's also a pacifism mode, which involves no shooting in the return of Evolved, and the primary style from the first game. All told, there are 6 ways to play and rack up points. Fans of the first game are going to flip, and now they'll have an excuse to drag their friends into play at the same time. God, this does look visually crazy, whatever is happening here. One-shots. Crash Commando. 2 of the founders of DICE, creators of Battlefield, are behind the game, which arms you with multiple explosive weapons and a jetpack in 12-player death matches over PSN. Need I say more? This one is a total blast. Look for it near the holidays. I've never even heard of Crash Commando, but if it's just some like 12-player deathmatch thing, that probably explains why. Does not sound like anything I want to play. Braid. This time-bending, post-mortem existential crisis of a game is finally set to release on Live Arcade before summer end. Whether you dig the mind-expanding puzzles, the gorgeous art style, or the poignant story, this game expands the horizons of what we expect from the medium. So my experience with Braid, I sat down, I was like, I'm going to just kind of dabble with this for a little bit, and I did. I'm afraid that it might make me feel stupid. There we go. I was trying to get something to go away, a notification that kind of popped up, but it wasn't clearing, but I finally got it. So anyway, Portal still live. Speaking of games that made me feel stupid, Portal. Live Arcade will be receiving a special treat when GLaDOS and her strange spatial puzzles make their way onto the service. The game includes the original game plus expanded additional levels that weren't present on the disc-based release. Early reports indicate the game will be both moist and delicious. Galaga Legions, Xbox Live Arcade. The development team behind Pac-Man Championship Edition is tackling another classic game property, and their efforts look to more than meet expectations. Like the original game, your ship can still only shoot straight ahead, and the combat combat the endless waves of enemies diving onto the screen. The game also adds 2 deployable stationary cannons to the formula that you can place. The game also adds 2 deployable stationary cannons to the formula that you can place with the right stick. By flicking any which way of the cannons will teleport in and begin firing in the specified direction. Oh man, I'm gonna have to pause. I have a Okay, sorry about that. I am still kind of getting used to reading and talking out loud, and I was getting this just like really like just tickle in the back of my throat, and I couldn't get it away, and I was fighting it, and I finally just paused for a second just to kind of. Anyway, let's get back into it. Mega Man 9. Woo! I have tried a little Mega Man 9, and I realized that I am not very good at Mega Man. That game is fucking hard. Anyway, Capcom opted for a fascinating approach to delivering retro games with their latest Mega Man announcement with their Mega Man announcement. Mega Man 9 planned for release on all three major console download services is a direct sequel to Mega Man 8, but it is being prepared with the tone and visual presentation of Mega Man 2. That means the whole game looks like an honest-to-goodness new NES in the classic style, pixels be damned. The game seems like a 1980s dream, but the story levels and robot bosses are all brand new. This time, Dr. Light's good name has been smeared as some of his robot creations are running amok. The insidious Dr. Wily has accused their creator as accused their creator as the evil mastermind behind the attacks. How's the gameplay? Just like you remember. And the gameplay is difficult. Very, very, very difficult. I don't know. That was kind of like weirdly worded. That was kind of wordy. That was weird to read. Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty. Now this is an idea I can get behind. Take an existing game engine, in this case the one from Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, and create a new stand-alone title for download. Make it short and sweet, 3 to 4 hours, and set the price tag low enough to pull in the crowds, $14.99. Quest for Booty takes Ratchet on a pirate-themed voyage to find the missing Clank. You won't have the normal Clank abilities, but you'll gain new ones like the ability to utilize your wrench from afar to manipulate objects. It's a fantastic way to leverage an existing property without the high expense of another full-fledged retail release. Anyone else vote to see more titles like this from the development community? Yeah, I liked my time with Quest for Booty. I look forward to playing it again. The Misadventures of PB Winterbottom. I own this on 360. I've never played it. I do know it has like that black and white artistic style. The ingenious puzzle platformer hasn't been snatched up by any major the download services yet, but trust me when I say that it will sometime soon. As mischief-making gentleman villain PB Winterbottom, you travel a world of black and white silent film backdrops, attempting to break the time-space continuum in order to get some pie. Excuse me. Keep an eye on this one. Fable 2 pub games. Oh boy, no. No. This one's a miss, Matt. Packed into one fun little title, little arcade. Okay. Packed into one fun little live arcade release, the Fable 2 pub games will allow fans to get a head start on collecting gold before the big game releases in a couple of months. My favorite is a pyramid structured card game called Fortune Tower, but there's also this roulette style betting of Keystone and a strange game of chance called Spinner Box. So it's only 3 games. I think they charged like $10 for it. And I remember there was like a way to just like break the game. And you could basically like get infinite money and then just import that over to the main game. And there was a whole thing of like, oh, are they going to do anything and punish people for doing it? No, they didn't do anything. Fat Princess. I played Fat Princess quite a bit on PSN, I remember back in the day. I doubt I can even play it now. Capture the flag, but instead of flags, you've got 2 princesses. Feed the princess enough cake and she grows more rotund, making her harder to carry away. Each character in this PSN exclusive change into hats that turn him into classes like the builder, archer, or mage. The cutesy art style is surprisingly riddled with the bloody messes left behind from the massive 16 versus 16 multiplayer matches. Data files. What is this? Music for the masses. Okay, so this is just kind of like talking about Rock Band 2 and Guitar Hero. So we'll start over here. More news you can use. Military motions on hold. Sony brought SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs confrontation to E3 shown, but the game has been delayed from September until October 14th. Likewise, Sierra's World in Conflict Soviet Assault won't begin until January. The game was originally scoped. So basically, it's saying those 2 games were delayed. Tecmo backs new Team Ninja. Tecmo is facing employee lawsuits and the lost fame developer Tomonobuchi Itagaki. Uh, Itagaki, okay. But the publisher developer isn't taking things lying down. The Japanese company has appointed a new head for its flagship Team Ninja development studio, whom it hasn't revealed, headed by the motto new title, new genre, new location, new leader. Tecmo says a new big budget title from Team Ninja will be aimed at Western gamers. The return of Apogee, original Duke Nukem publisher okay, I don't know how to say it. Apogee is returning with a trilogy of new Duke adventures for unspecified consoles. The episodes will be entitled Critical Mass, Chain Reaction, and Proving Grounds. Apogee is also planning to mine its back catalog and sign on developers for new projects. A quieter, faster Xbox 360. Microsoft is introducing a new feature that lets you install games on your 360 hard drive to decrease load times and quiet excessive disk drive noise. You will still be required, however, to have your game disc inserted in order to play. Warhammer axes features. Warhammer Online fans aren't happy that Mythic Entertainment has cut some features from the upcoming game, including 4 classes and couple capital cities. Mythic defends the move, saying that cutting content that wasn't balanced or complete is actually no great loss at all. Sorry for the second pause. My nose is all clogged up, so I can't, like, it must be allergies. Like, I can't breathe through it, so I'm having to breathe through my mouth and talk at the same time. I mean, that's just like I'm trying to breathe and I can't. So it's just I'm struggling right now. But anyway, Warhammer X's features. Warhammer Online's aren't happy that Mythic Entertainment has cut some features from the upcoming game, including four classes and a couple capital cities. Mythic defends the move, saying that cutting content that wasn't balanced or incomplete is actually no great loss at all. So now we're going to just talk about music for the masses. On the right here is just the set list for Rock Band 2. Rock Band 2. Rock Band 2 was a big part of Microsoft's E3 press conference, and developer Harmonix and publisher MTV Games spilled the game's 84 song set list in all its glory. 20 more songs are planned as free downloads. 20 more songs are planned as free downloads this fall. Apart from having AC/DC's Let There Be Rock and Guns N' Roses' Shackler's Revenge from the long overdue Chinese Democracy, Rock Band 2 lets players bring songs over from the first Rock Band, so you won't have to swap discs. If you want to play an old favorite, Rock Band 2 comes out first for Xbox 360 on September 14th, and later on PS3 October, PS2 October, and Wii in November. Guitar Hero World Tour. Although the full song set list for Guitar Hero World Tour hasn't been officially released, at E3, Activision revealed that the game will come with 85 songs, including 2 Jimi Hendrix songs, The Wind Cries Mary and Purple Haze, live. The game will also get a 3-pack REM song, 3-pack of REM songs from the band's new album, as well as Metallica's full-length Death Magnetic, which will be available for Guitar Hero 3 in September and later for World Tour when it releases. Guitar Hero and Rock Band may be competing series, but that doesn't mean the two don't play well together. Neversoft says Rock Band's Xbox 360 instruments will work with World Tour. I do need to check out World Tour at some point. But I mean, I have a good idea what it's going to be like, but I haven't played just any Guitar Hero game since high school at this point, so it'll be interesting to go back. From what I hear and remember, it's harder than Rock Band. Xbox 360 price cut temporary. Xbox 360 price cut temporary. Can new 360 increase sales? Industry analysts have talked for a while about the impending Xbox 360 price cut, and on the eve of E3, to little fanfare, Microsoft has finally delivered. Like Sony's price cut from last year, this move is more of a phasing out of a particular version of the 360. While supplies last, the 20 gigabyte Xbox 360 now sells for $299. Down from $349. That actually is a big substantial difference. Once the 20 gigabyte version is cleared out of retail channel, it will be replaced by a 60 gigabyte Xbox 360 that will sell for the old price of $349. Microsoft says the new 60 gigabyte model will go on sale in early August. The arcade system without a hard drive is going to be $279, and the 120 gigabyte Elite $449 remain unchanged. Before E3, there were consistent rumors that Microsoft would release a 360 with a Blu-ray drive to compete with the PlayStation 3, but this is yet to happen. According to the newest NPD sales data in the month of June, PlayStation 3 outsold the Xbox 360 by almost double, 405 units to 219, respectively. 405,000 to basically 220,000, respectively. This was the month Konami released its PS3 exclusive Metal Gear Solid 4, and Sony put forth its MGS4 PS3 bundle. It will be interesting to see if the discounted 20 gigabyte and increased hard drive space at $349 price point will boost the Xbox 360 sales. Microsoft cancels Halo reveal, and you're not going to believe the excuse. Who wouldn't want to see the new Bungie developed Halo title? Not you, we guess. Even though the studio had created a trailer for Microsoft's E3 press conference, something that would have no doubt been cool to see, the publisher pulled the plug on the big reveal. Bungie's own website had a timer counting down to July 16th. That's so funny. 7:07 a.m. The timer's confluence of the number 7 had everyone believing the studio announcement was Halo related. For the last several months, we've been building toward a reveal of something exciting that Bungie is working on, says a statement from President Harold Ryan on the Bungie website. We were looking forward to sharing that with our fan community during the week of E3. However, those plans were just changed by our publisher. At E3, Don Mattrick, Senior Vice President of Microsoft Interactive Entertainment Division, told the LA Times that Microsoft pulled the plug on the announcement because the press conference was already running long and the company wanted to get it down to under 90 minutes. But instead of cutting Avatar's, Duffy, or Primetime's game shows, Bungie got the axe. According to Mattrick, however, Microsoft plans to dedicate an entire event to the unknown game in the near future. I don't know if Don Mattrick made good decisions. Just going to say that. So now we're going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. We are sorry about the E3 media briefing, specifically for those who were expecting to see Nintendo show something about Super Mario or Legend of Zelda. And that is a quote from Nintendo President Satoru Iwata. The bad. Metal Gear Online melted down after the online Girl expansion pack released. High network traffic forced Konami to close down the MGO and reward shops, cancel some online events, and issue a straight-up apology. The good. Since hardly any PC players were willing to pay an annual Xbox Live for Windows fee, unlike the console stick suckers, Microsoft has waived the $49.99 gold membership fee, making all multiplayer components of this service free. That is really funny. They tried. Not at E3, Alan Wake, Brutal Legends, Aliens, Colonial Marines, Beyond Good and Evil 2, Tekken 6, Splinter Cell Conviction, Ghostbusters, Final Fantasy 13, Mafia 2, APB, Wipeout HD, Indiana Jones, Tiberium, Need for Speed, Undercover, Saboteur, Rogue Warrior, and much more. Okay. Just focus on what was there. That's okay. I'm just trying to think. Alan Wake come out, Brutal Legends came out, Aliens came out, Beyond Good and Evil. That's still getting made. That's in development. Tekken 6 came out, Splinter Cell came out, Ghostbusters came out, Final Fantasy. There's always a Final Fantasy coming out. Mafia 2 came out, APB, I believe APB came out. Wipeout HD, that came out. Indiana Jones. I don't know what Indiana Jones that is. Is that Lego? I don't know. Tiberium, I don't know what that is. Need for Speed Undercover came out. Saboteur, I played that. I like that. Rogue Warrior, I played that. I didn't like that. So, the ugly. Nintendo's E3 press conference was light on meaningful games, but afterward, Miyamoto threw everyone not named Grandpa or Mom a bone by saying that the company is working on a new Pikmin game for an undisclosed system. Unfortunately, we shouldn't expect it anytime soon, as Nintendo Vice President Cammie Dunaway told Wired that the company has no surprise game announcements for the rest of 2008. Between Animal Crossing and Wii Music, Nintendo has half a game, if that, planned for this holiday season. And then the straight up bad. Rock Revolution senior product manager Lauren Ficcidomo failed out of her own game trying to play the Ramones Blitzkrieg Pop. At the Konami press conference, this after playing the song for real with her band the Sheenas. That's one way to end a presentation on a sour note, but Wii's Castlevania Judgment left in an even worse taste in our mouth. In other words, Konami is suing Rock Band's MTV, Viacom, and Harmonix over what Konami claims are U.S. patent violations regarding Rock Band's instruments and status as a Music, quote unquote, music rhythm matching game. If you can't beat them, sue them. I don't think that works out for them too well. Ugh. Loose talk. Just so this is just like just little random tidbits and thoughts, I suppose. Nintendo waves off third parties. Nintendo has been known to be almost antagonistic towards third party publishers, and from what we heard at E3, things haven't changed. Every developer and publisher we talked to said they hadn't heard about Nintendo's Wii Motion Plus until the actual press conference. That's not a good start if you're trying to get third parties on board with developing for the peripheral and therefore convincing customers that it's worth their while. See, Nintendo's thought process about this was we don't have to let people know because we're announcing this in, what was it, like July, and it's not even coming out until spring of the following year. So everyone is going to find out to get, and it's just like, I think Nintendo's gotten better about that stuff. But yeah, I don't know why they were up their own ass about that peripheral in specific. Weird. Sorry, I'm still just struggling to breathe over here. It's just so hot and humid, and I can't breathe through my nose. It's rough. It's a rough day. Okay, it's not a good start. You're trying to get peripheral and the worth. Okay. LucasArts in particular wasn't happy about being kept in the dark, especially since it's created Star Wars, the Clone Wars, a lightsaber duels, see page 92, specifically for the console. The game was even included in Nintendo's press conference. The setting in which Wii Motion Plus was introduced, which the game doesn't use, much to LucasArts' dismay. Oh my god, this is, if this is Nintendo's attitude regarding its new peripheral and third-party adoption, don't expect Wii Motion Plus to be adopted by many. Okay, I just needed to take a minute to breathe because I keep saying like I'm just struggling to breathe doing this right at the moment. And it's still, I don't think I can do, because I don't think I'm halfway. Oh shoot, I closed it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm on page 50. I need to get to page 80. I've done 10 pages in an hour. I'm just like, I'm dying over here. I can't breathe. I'm having to constantly stop. I hate summer. Can I just go on a rant and just say, like, I hate summer so fucking much? God, I hate summer. All right, thank you for watching. I have to call it today. I don't know, like maybe this is too much. Like I can't spend like 7 hours a week reading a magazine. It's a fun idea, but like this is crazy. So thank you for watching. I don't know. I got to figure some stuff out. Primarily how to fucking breathe right now.